My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Libras. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot, and as per promise, I'm going to be showing you guys, one of the readings from the Macabre Tarot. So, for this week, I've chosen to do the Tombstone, the 5-card spread reading. But as you can see, I decided to kind of change it up a bit where I have my crown on and the veil to actually symbolize being the Queen of Vampire Tarot. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reading you guys, 5 questions, and I'm going to be drawing 5 cards to see how they can more or less kind of guide you guys towards the best possible outcome if we're currently struggling in any way possible. So let's get started. So for question number 1, what is a piece of yourself you've lost connection with? So now I'm going to draw the first card. Oof, okay, the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, the thing is, sometimes, it's like the Wheel of Fortune can, mean anything. It can be from a really good academic institution to a job, career, anything that mostly just symbolizes having fortune and luck on your side. Let's say that you tried to audition for some kind of position and it just didn't work. Let's say you tried to do anything, but it just didn't work. I can understand how, you could currently be feeling discouraged, by thinking, well, it's like, I applied for this real important position and then I got rejected. I've come across hundreds of humans that have really pretty much, the thing is, it's like rejection is painful in many ways, but the most important thing is to keep reminding yourself of who you are and what you're capable of doing, because the problem is a lot of humans, it's like, they don't really have this realization, let's put it in that way, that their words can impact other people's well-being in so many ways, right? So, because, I've come across humans, you try to apply for like an important, like university or something and you get rejected. It's painful because you worked incredibly hard and then it doesn't get acknowledged. You studied hard for an exam, it didn't work out. Or you tried your hardest for a job interview, didn't work out. So the thing is, it could go either way, but the most important thing is, to either realize, whatever worth having doesn't come easy. So if you applied for something and it just didn't work out, then it was pretty much not worth your time to actually be, grieving and mourning over it in other ways. Because, if people, in a different world, it's like there would be so many senses of equality in this world, not based off of just only one-sided areas and stuff like that. No, there'd still be more opportunities and options for everybody just to kind of grow into, right? Because then we're going to get to the second one. How can you reconnect? The Fool. Aquarius, your brother, sister, air sign, in the sense by not giving up and by moving and by keep going and stuff like that. That's what the crux of the Fool is. If you want to have this Wheel of Fortune of whatever it may be and however it's going to will guide you towards the best possible outcome, is by not giving up, by constantly taking risks and leaps of faith until you eventually get what you want and deserve and need in many ways. Because the thing is it's like, again, whatever worth having doesn't come easy, but just if you tried it once, just assume it was just a trial phase. Second time, it's annoying. Third time, if people really are going to be rejecting you and just say, please give up, don't come near me, I just blah, 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 any kind of negativity, and then those people are not worth your time. Because the thing is, it's like a lot of humans, they can definitely, have their own ideas and perceptions, to say, well, I'll invite you. But then, it's like, it's pretty much so unfair in many ways. Trust me, even the human has struggled with so many, problems in his own way, even when he was actually trying to apply for his first job after college. He said that was practically the most horrifying moment. It's like, in his experience, when he tried to even apply for any kind of job, it took him like 40 number, to be able to get a job. And you might just think, oh my goodness, is that going to happen to me? Hopefully not. But again, it's just by taking leaps of faith and risk and just saying, okay, I want to get that Wheel of Fortune and I'm not going to give up. And eventually he got something of equal or greater value. Not really what he actually wanted, though. So number 3, where can you make space for this new connection in your life? Nightmare of Phones, also known as the Page of Wands, is by getting out there. So that's kind of the crux of any kind of like leap of faith, is by getting out there and just trying it, not giving up and just saying, okay, yes, I'm putting my resume, I'm putting my mindset, I'm putting my psyche, I'm putting my own sense of feeling practically on the line, and constantly in a vulnerable state by taking leaps of faith and risks. But the thing is, it's like whatever worth having doesn't come easy. So as long as you just keep at it, and by getting out there and by trying, whatever and stuff like that, eventually you will get something, maybe exactly the wheel of fortune that you wanted to have, or maybe something of equal or greater value. Because the thing is, it's like sometimes, when you miss out on an opportunity, or you don't get the wheel of fortune, the academics, the job, the what have you, sometimes, the timing isn't right, which is always very, such a discouraging and daunting way to phrase something. So I'm sorry about that in many ways. But the most important thing is sometimes there's something way better waiting for you. And that wheel of fortune, maybe you might eventually get some kind of star wish fulfillment. And that wheel of fortune is just one grade lower than the star wish fulfillment. So, try to see something like in that positive angle. Because then we get to number 4. How will this impact you moving forward? 10 of daggers. So how this is going to impact you is by embracing painful endings. You see, the thing is, at a certain point, it's like, whatever that wheel of fortune is, I'm sure it's probably this real big, important, anything from academics to job, to any idea, to any person out in this world, any relationship goals. But the thing is if it just doesn't work out, eventually you will have to just think, okay, I'm going to have to put this idea to a metaphorical, what are they called? Coffin, not really coffin, but, a cemetery, and just say, what, I'm just going to, we'll put it in a cemetery and just say, okay, I did my best. I tried applying. I did everything. I went around also, so many detours. I tried applying for this job. I tried auditioning for this position. I tried anything to, my own power and stuff like that, but it didn't work. Eventually, you're going to have to try to find an alternative route and think, what, fine. I did my best, but if it's not meant to be, okay, fine. Painful, but we're going to get to the final one. How can you honor this new space in your life? Massacre of Crystals, also known as the King of Pentacles. This is what's waiting for you. And that's why this King of Pentacles is more or less saying you're not going to get the Wheel of Fortune, because you're going to get something way better around the corner. And sometimes, these situations, painful, but the thing is, there's something of probably equal or greater value that's waiting for you. If you want to have like, a golden carriage and stuff like that, it's like, it's beautiful, it's like, don't get me wrong. But if there's something way better around the corner, like this golden palace, for example, then that golden carriage is pretty much actually has no value, because suddenly you get something way bigger and brighter and stronger, more confident. And that's what the King of Pentacles is also about, is having, abundance, confidence, and feeling this realistic and rational groundedness about this whole card and stuff like that. Because the fact is, it's like, patience is horrible. Having to wait, when people say, well, you're just going to have to wait, but for how long? Well, it's not up for me to decide now, is it? And that's, of course, so discouraging, but as long as hopefully based off of my guidance and support, from these cards, is that something way better is around the corner. All you have to do is maybe just walk around the corner. I know it's easier said than done, but just, you'll know that there's something way better waiting for you. So, well, I'm going to have to leave it at this for now, but if this reading resonated for any Libras or Libra placements out in this world, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel if you're ever interested in any more upcoming Macabre Tarots, because I'm going to try out a couple more readings, like in a week and a week after that, stuff like that. I will go back to general readings. I will go back to Dracula readings and stuff like that, because I know the Dracula movie is going to be coming out at different locations and stuff like that, so maybe to kind of, amplify the whole Dracula vibe again. But anyway, I love you guys incredibly. I want to thank you all so much for joining me in this very beautiful, relaxing evening. I hope this will all work out for you, and I want to wish you all the best of where this journey may take you. But as per usual, take excellent good care of yourselves.